Shalom. Call Halim La Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And sincere shalom to the 144,001 Now, with everything that's coming to pass, all the prophecies is playing out, we still have to keep in mind that something will lead to a catastrophic, cataclysmic disaster where billions of people will be put to death. That's the times that we're building up into. Like right now, the most recent catastrophic event was a C-19. The world went on a soft lockdown. But guess what? There's going to be something significantly worse to where it's, like these SHTF, Teotihuacan movies where people are trying to flee the cities in the millions and you got the highways backed up. Now you can't escape in your car. You have to go on foot or bike or in the air. And it's just millions of people dying. Starvation, disease, and the sword. Now I'm gonna go to Second Ezra's, the 5th chapter, and I'm gonna start from the top, verse 1. Nevertheless, as coming the tokens, behold, the days shall come, and a token is an omen. That's what it's going into, an omen, which means a preview of something, right? Like a prophecy. They that which shall dwell upon earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. So the way of truth, the ultimate truth is the gospel, all right? To be just, to be righteous, okay? That's the way of truth. The people on the earth are going to be taken in a great number through starvation, disease, and the sword. And the sword is just being put to death. Whether that be somebody shooting you with a 9mm, somebody chopping you up with a machete, getting your head blown off by a drone, whatever. And the overwhelming majority of people are going to die. Okay, it's going to be more than 50%. Now they quote unquote say the Earth has 8 billion people. We don't really know. Okay, even the UN says that it's just a guesstimation, essentially. But let's just go with 8 billion people. That's still bare minimum, 4 billion people. Of course, it said the majority. Think in 2nd Ezra 9 we'll get that. Or it says pretty much the overwhelming majority of people will die, which is 90% plus. And of course, with the Georgia Guidestones, these devils talked about how they want to maintain humanity at 500 million. Okay. Verse 2, but iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. So guess what? People are going to get worse. These women are going to get worse. These men are going to get worse. These Edomites, these heathen, Jake, they going to get worse. They're going to start breaking into people's homes to take from them, take their resources, take their, essay them, grape them. They're going to roam around in gangs, start eating people, cannibalism. You're going to have mass grape of men, women, animals. Okay, especially these Edomites, man. They love bestiality. And if you didn't know, in Texas has a large amount of animals. Like tigers and lions and zebras. Like a couple weeks ago, maybe it's been a little bit longer, maybe 2-3 months, a giraffe was on the loose in Texas Hill Country. So we're going to have these animals breaking free out of Texas, like tigers and rhinos, or mostly predators, okay? So tigers, lions, wolverines. A wolverine will mess you up. Now, meant to say honey badgers. which Wolverines are native to North America. And Wolverines are essentially just bigger honey badgers. But honey badgers are more vibrant, if you will. And they'll mess you up. Even though they're real small, extremely intelligent creatures. Okay, they're very intelligent. They're just as intelligent as a dog, if not more. I would say they're more intelligent than a dog. I seen one where it had a stick and it did some acrobatics the stick on his back and did acrobatics to flip the stick upward so it can use the stick to climb out of its little hole that they had it in. What do you call it? I forgot what you call it where you keep an animal in. But like a zoo, the name slips me, but it's like a pit. And he flipped the stick off his back. That's some high level intelligence right there, So you're going to have these animals putting people to death. These animals are going to take people in great number. And non-predatory animals too. A rhino, an elephant, they'll kill you just to kill you. For the fun. They don't even want to eat you like a tiger would. I'm going to go to 2nd Ezra 9 now. This is 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, in verse 5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end. Yeah, so everything in the world has a beginning and an end. And the end is manifest. So yeah, this eon, which is the rule of these Edomites, the final heathen rulers of the earth, oikum in any sense, right? World. This is the end, which is the beginning of Jacob's rule. This is verse 15. I have said before, now do speak, and will speak it also hereafter, that there be many more of them which perish than of them that which shall be saved. So there's going to be more people getting put to death than that are going to get salvation, which is get beamed up in them chariots when that nuclear destruction starts shaking the world. Verse 16, like as a wave is greater than a drop. So imagine you have a drop, right? A drop of water is very small. A drop of water can't even fill like a bottle cap. But a wave is massive. And they're not talking about no kiddie pool. They're talking about the Atlantic Ocean, right? Mediterranean Sea, so on and so forth, right? Or, the Dead Sea, Caspian Sea, so on and so forth. A large body of water, a wave of a large body of water is what? Significantly bigger than a drop of water. It's a drop of water is what? 0.000 times 100, so many zeros after on the right side of that decimal point compared to a wave. That's why it's going to be the overwhelming majority of people getting put to death. They're gonna be what is that scripture? Let's get that right here. Dung. See if I can find it. Second Ezra 16 and verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, which is starvation, dehydration, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And famine and pestilence go hand in hand. So disease. And then the sword is, you could, let's say you got a bunker or, you got a homestead or whatever, right? And then you growing your crops, right? You got potatoes, you got goat milk, eggs. You eating healthy, you eating good, you feeling good. Got your own little security soldiers on your perimeter, and then a large group like the Saviors, from The Walking Dead, which is Negan. He was the leader of the Saviors. Imagine a group like that pull up on you, and they don't care. They're not trying to basically make you tributaries to them. They're just gonna put you to death and then take your property and make it theirs. And then a group like that, yeah, okay, fine. The robots, the elect, they don't put them to death or whatever, right? Okay, fine. They gonna eat a nuke, all right, if they're in Babylon the Great. Verse 23. And the dead shall be cast out as dung. Yeah, so a lot of people aren't even going to be, cannibalized, if you will. They're just going to be rotting corpses on the ground. Rotting corpses tied up to poles, And there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the city shall be cast down. Yeah, Yahweh's going to make sure these cities, Bangkok, Tokyo, New York City, Cologne, which is in Germany. Where else you got? You got Budapest. You got Shanghai, right? You got all these cities. They're going to be cast down and full of corpses worldwide. This is not going to be just a Babylonian thing, an American thing, or an Edomite punishment. This is going to be the whole world. All nations, every human being, if you will, is going to be, every place that mankind dwells is going to be put into trouble, Jacob's trouble. Okay, let's get that. What is that, Jeremiah? Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. Okay. Jeremiah 30:7. For alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even a time of Jacob's trouble, Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. There you go. So Jacob's trouble is going to be everywhere. Okay, it's going to be everywhere. Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay. What else you got? Caribbeans, however you want to pronounce it. Canada, Senegal, Vietnam, North Korea, Germany, Sweden, Romania. All these places are going to feel the wrath of Yahweh. Mass casualties. Every 90% plus of the people in these countries are going to be dead, corpses on the ground. It's going to be like these apocalyptic movies. Even worse, because, these apocalyptic movies, Esau doesn't really show the full atrocities that are going to come to pass. Usually it's at the end of the movie, humanity is saved, or the movie is only like a for example, Doomsday came out in 2008. It was a Reaper, I believe it's called the Reaper virus. It wiped out Scotland. Scotland got wiped out by it. And I guess the EU or whatever, NATO, they made a very sophisticated AI wall with sentries, AGI, whatever, sentry guns that surrounded Scotland to cut it off from England. Because, Scotland is right attached to the northern part of England. And they walled it off, 360-degree wall off. And a virus completely wiped out Scotland. And then the people that survived essentially became highly intelligent zombies. They kept their intelligence, but they became more aggressive and wanted to eat people. Now, in the movie, it's kind of spoilers, but it doesn't outright tell you that they were zombies, okay? But you could tell by looking at the movie that they were essentially like zombies, because before so what happened was that the Reaper virus got into England. The Reaper virus got into England, and England is finna collapse, And then if it spreads out of England, spreads to Europe and the world will collapse. It'll be over, right? And so they had a satellite orbit, or over Scotland, and they noticed that it's been 10 years, 11 years, something like that. It's been quite a while, and they saw human movement, so people were still alive there. So they're trying to figure, and then of course they figured out, those people were immune. So if they go to them and get their blood or DNA or whatever, they'll be able to make a vaccine. Okay, they'll be able to make a vaccine, and that vaccine will essentially save humanity. Now, when they were entering the wall, going to the city, you saw a huge herd of cows. I mean, it was so many cows that you could, like, as many people that you saw in this apocalyptic settlement, them cows, they probably could have survived off them cows potentially. They could have been eating beef, especially if they ate the whole entire cow that was edible. They more than likely could potentially just live off cows, but they weren't eating the cows. They were eating people. They were cannibals. And then, of course, they kind of started hinting a little bit more at it, that the virus essentially made them aggressive and cannibals. So guess what? You're going to have a Reaper virus, but in real life, and it's not going to be diverted. Oh, and by the way, at the end of the movie, like they had a chick. She was like the main character. She kills the cannibal leader, and she becomes the new cannibal leader because she was like, yeah, screwed. She was like, yeah, this making a vaccine for this. Yeah, screw that. Humanity's cooked. I'm going to just chill with these guys because at least they're already established as this apocalyptic group. I'm going to chill with them. So yeah, man, that's how rough it's going to be out here. And these people in the world, these people without Yahweh's grace, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash's grace, they cooked. How are they going to make it out of this judgment? How are they going to make it out? So with that, shalom.